Hey, good afternoon, everyone. It's David Coates here. I want to talk to you a little bit about training agencies. Specifically, today we're going to cover two training agencies, the most popular, the American Red Cross and the American Heart Association. I've been an instructor with both the American Heart Association and the American Red Cross for the past 20 plus years. So not only am I an instructor, but I'm an instructor trainer, which means I can create new instructors. For the Red Cross, we call that an instructor trainer. And the American Heart Association, that's training center faculty. We're going to cover two courses for both the American Red Cross and American Heart Association, and there are others, but we're going to focus today on basic life support and lay rescuer. So in the Heart Association parlance, that's going to be basic life support still. We still call it the same thing, thankfully. And the lay rescuer, the American Heart Association refers to that as Heart Saver. So those are the two courses we're going to discuss today. We'll talk about the pros and cons, the pricing differences, the class reporting differences, and so on. So to get started, just a quick general overview. The American Red Cross, the significant difference is all of their student materials, instructor materials, videos, everything is available online for free. So when you sign up to be an American Red Cross instructor, you'll take a Red Cross instructor class. Access to all those materials is free and digital. The contrast to that is when you take a instructor course from the American Heart Association, you're going to need to purchase those instructor materials for several $100s. Now, does it make a big deal over the long period of time? No. But if you're a relatively new instructor, brand new instructor perhaps, and you're going to be teaching not a lot of classes, maybe 2, 3, 4 classes a year, then amortizing those instructor material costs over the courses that you're going to teach per year can add up and be significant. So that's the first significant differentiator between the American Red Cross and the American Heart Association. The materials, purchasing your materials, student materials, books, instructor materials, DVDs, videos, tests, all the instructor manuals, the program administration manual, which granted is available online for AHA. All those manuals you're going to need to acquire specifically for AHA, and they cost money that you're going to have to pay out. Red Cross, all available for free online. Next, let's talk about specifically for basic life support. There's several different ways you can deliver basic life support courses. Traditionally, we've done a classroom-based course where students come into your classroom. You're going to deliver lecture presentations. You're going to deliver guided discussion. You're going to watch some videos. Ultimately, you're going to take a written test and practice, polish, and test out on skills, both individual skills and hopefully group skills. Basic life support is best done as a group exercise. So, number one, we've got traditional classroom presentation. Both organizations have this. We'll talk about pricing in a minute. Let's just finish discussing the ways to deliver the course. The second way is the most popular way, which is blended learning. Both organizations, Red Cross and AHA, offer blended learning as a choice. So this is where you're going to watch the videos, you're going to watch lectures, perhaps some discussion, and even take the written test online before you even set foot in a classroom. Once you've completed that online training, then, and only then, you're going to go to the classroom and you're going to do the skills portion of this class. So again, there's individual skills where you're going to work on compressions, ventilations, using a bag valve mask, using a defibrillator, and so forth. And then there's going to be a group session where you're going to practice CPR as a team. Critical for basic life support folks who are typically doctors, nurses, paramedics, EMTs, firefighters, police officers, lifeguards, people who have a duty to respond. So again, we got two methods so far. Traditional classroom, blended learning. There's a couple other ways. There's what's known as a review course. This is for already certified people. So if you're already certified in basic life support, you can take a review class. This is an abbreviated class of the classroom course. So you're going to review the material, you're going to watch some videos, you are going to take the written test in the classroom, and then you're going to practice those individual and group skills. The fourth way is a challenge course, very popular amongst your physicians. So these are people who have extensive experience. They may be cardiologists. They may have participated in creating the curriculum. So these challenge courses are going to be basically, I'm going to give you the written test. If you pass the written test, then you're going to show me and demonstrate the skills of basic life support. If you pass both the written test and you pass all the skills of basic life support, then you're certified. 4 ways to do basic life support: classroom, blended learning, a review class, and a challenge course. Both curriculums have all 4 delivery methods. Fair enough? Now let's talk pricing. So, the easiest way to discuss pricing for the American Red Cross, the list price for basic life support is $27. It doesn't matter how you deliver it. It could be in person, it could be blended learning, it could be a challenge class, it could be a review class. It's $27 no matter how you do it. It includes the online presentation. So if you do blended learning, that part's included. Easy enough. For the American Heart Association, the classroom course, you're required to use books. So you have to have the hard copy of the book available for each student before, during, and after the class, which basically means you need to buy each student a book. That's $19. Next, you're going to need to pay for the individual certification cards. That price varies. I'm going to say on average, it's between $6 and $10. Each individual training center can create their own price for the certification cards. And again, the average is between $6 to $10. So you got the book, $19, and let's just go with $6. That's a total of $25. So from a classroom point of view, they're almost exactly the same. Whether you're doing Red Cross or American Heart Association, that classroom course is almost identically priced. When we discuss blended learning, that's where we get the difference. In American Heart Association, there's the online course costs are $36 for the blended learning course on American Heart Association. So that's known online as Heart Code Online. So that course, $36. You have to do that plus then the $6 card fee. Again, that's between $6 and $10. Each training center sets their own prices. So you can see for blended learning, the American Red Cross is the clear, less expensive option. In person, it's about the same. Blended learning, Red Cross is the clear winner for price. For review classes, the AHA still requires books to be present. Now, in theory, students who are taking the recertification class from American Heart should have their old books. In practice, that doesn't always happen, but they should. So the fee would only be $6 to $10 for that certification card cost. For the American Red Cross, remember, it's just a flat fee, $27, no matter how you slice it. So here, for a review class, you might get a better deal using the American Heart Association, presuming they still have their online book. Fair enough? The challenge class, again, books need to be present for the American Heart Association if they exist, but mostly we're worried about giving them the written test and then doing the physical skills for both agencies. So here, the only fee is going to be $6, $6 to $10 for the American Heart Association. For the Red Cross, again, it's a flat fee, $27, no matter how you slice it. So in this particular case, challenge courses, particularly for rescue squads and fire departments, where you're allowed to create a library of books, are going to be the low-cost option. So AHA wins on the review and challenge class for BLS because all you're really paying is an initial sum of money to have a library of books at your squad or fire department, and then you have to pay the individual card cost of $6 to $10 each. So if you're doing initial classes, particularly blended learning, Red Cross is the low-cost solution. For review classes and challenge classes, particularly for fire departments and first aid squads, the American Heart Association is going to be the win. All right, next we're going to move on to lay rescuer or heart saver classes. Much like basic life support, the American Red Cross has a fairly flat fee for their lay rescuer courses. We can deliver it in all the same formats: blended learning, full classroom courses, a review class, and a challenge class. That part remains the same for both organizations. Now let's look at the pricing differences. The American Red Cross is basically $40 any way you slice it. So blended learning, in-person, review, or challenge. It just makes life a little easier. So for the American Heart Association, let's review that pricing. The books for Heart Saver are $3 each, so not a dramatic cost for the books. The card costs are around between $20 and $25. Again, each training center sets the price for the cards, and $20 to $25 seems to be a reasonable average. So, again, we're at $40 for the American Red Cross, $27 for the American Heart Association, just for the card costs. You got to add in the books, another $3. That amounts to about $30. So you're going to see the American Heart Association is a little less expensive here. However, from a program administration point of view, there are so many different versions of Heart Saver at American Heart Association, it's very confusing for instructors. Program administration wise, I'm going to hand this clearly to the American Red Cross. It's a little more expensive, but it's so much easier to deal with. The small difference in price clearly to me outweighs the drama factor that the American Heart Association has with their Heart Saver program. Yes, you can save a little money by doing this, and if you get very familiar and comfortable with Heart Saver, you'll save a little money. But the drama factor is high, and I'm going to give the clear win to the American Red Cross for lay rescuer. So now that we've talked about the pricing differences and a little bit about the drama factor and course reporting, let's go into that with a little deeper dive. The American Red Cross has a fairly standardized program across all their classes where they make reporting enormously easy. The Red Cross Learning Center is an online portal where you can actually process all your classes online and pay for them as needed. So when you process a class, that's when you're going to pay for your card fees or your program administration fee. That's different than the American Heart Association. There, you need to actually pay in advance. So two factors here. You have to pay in advance, and the reporting requirements at the American Heart Association differ by training center. Each training center can use a slightly different process. Some may require paper rosters. Some use electronic reporting. Our training center, for example, uses a piece of software called Enrollware. Some people charge for this. Some training centers do not. So you have to add that into a complicating factor for the American Heart Association. Clear win for the American Red Cross in this particular case. The reporting is simple. It's easy. You can have unlimited cards available to you right now. You don't have to pre-purchase anything. There's no specific software you need to buy or download. It's all done on an online portal. Clear win on reporting to the American Red Cross. So let's quickly go back into instructor materials. We talked a little bit about this at the top. So with the American Heart Association, you're going to need to purchase those instructor materials. You'll need an instructor manual, you'll need participant manuals, you'll need access to the course presentation and videos. You're going to need to pay for all those things. It's several $100s. The American Red Cross, all that is available for free, online, easily downloadable. You can download it and store it on your own computer. You can download it to a shared drive. You can download it to a thumb drive. You can stream it online if you really feel like it as well. If you insist, the Red Cross will sell you a DVD. I don't know anyone that actually does that, with the exception of maybe summer camps that don't have access to the internet and they need to actually play stuff from a DVD. Again, you can easily get around that by downloading all the presentations and the videos to a thumb drive. So easily get around that. You don't have to purchase anything from the American Red Cross. So we've covered kind of pricing, we've covered ease of administration, we've covered reporting. Is there a difference in audience from the American Red Cross to the American Heart Association? And while some people might strive to create a difference, my guess is it's very, very similar. Now, in general, a lot of hospitals seem to prefer the American Heart Association. And I think that's in part because a lot of hospitals are American Heart Association training centers. However, the American Red Cross has started to make excellent inroads in the hospital system, getting several hospitals to agree to use American Red Cross courses exclusively. Their biggest win is with the U.S. military, which has had an exclusive arrangement with the American Red Cross for the last several years. So any military personnel have to have Red Cross certifications, and any hospitals that are associated with the military tend to also accept those Red Cross certifications. So again, is there a real hard and defined audience difference? I don't believe so. Again, there's a slight preference at American Heart Association in the hospital space, but everything else is a toss-up. It can vary by region, it can vary by state. Both agencies, the American Red Cross and the American Heart Association, are universally accepted by all the states in the United States. Both courses are accepted. If you have an American Red Cross certificate, you're good. If you have an American Heart Association certificate, you're good. So the training should be almost identical. The standards are very rigid at both organizations, and the basic science is shared between both organizations and is derived by a group called ILCOR. They create the science, and both the Red Cross and the American Heart Association create curriculum around that science. So, how do you choose? Which one are you going to become an instructor with? Are you going to be an American Red Cross instructor, or are you going to go with the American Heart Association? So, as a new instructor, I find the American Heart Association to be a little difficult to deal with. It's not perfect, but it's just a little difficult to deal with. They make the administration challenging. If you can overcome that with an excellent training center or excellent training site, the American Heart Association is excellent, even for new instructors. The win here for me is the American Red Cross. They make this whole reporting system easy. The fees are all inclusive in one program administration fee, and they have an excellent support network. If you want to talk to someone from the American Red Cross, you can access them by 1-800-RED-CROSS. You can chat with them online. You can submit a case. There are extraordinary support measures that the Red Cross has put in place that will help you. The Heart Association does not have that level of support. They rely on their training centers and their training sites to deliver most of that support. So again, it's variable. There are excellent training centers and excellent training sites out there, and they will guide you and do an excellent job. And then there are some other ones that aren't quite as good. So I'm going to go with new instructors. The Red Cross is going to be your preferred approach. For experienced instructors, my solution is to do both. Different organizations will ask to have one versus the other. Why limit yourself? Become both an American Red Cross instructor and an American Heart Association instructor. That way, when someone says, I need a course for this particular organization, you can say, of course, I'd be happy to help. When they say, hey, I'm not sure which course is right for me, you can guide them. And you can tell them, hey, the Red Cross has lower fees in this particular case, or the American Heart Association may be better, particularly if you're a rescue squad or fire department. So there are a couple other minor items that I have to cover, which are differences between the organizations. Very interestingly, the American Heart Association requires the use of feedback mannequins for basic life support. We use the Laerdal QCPR function. These are great mannequins. I certainly love them. They provide actually output to an iPad or a TV where you can watch the exact function of the mannequins, how far down someone compresses, how much they release the chest, how fast they're going, the breaths that go in. Very comprehensive. Another solution would be the Preston mannequins. These mannequins have little lights that light up on the victim's, on the mannequin's shoulder, which tell you, are you being successful or not. But those are required by the American Heart Association for basic life support. Those are not required by the American Red Cross. I find that I like to use them whether I'm doing a Red Cross class or American Heart class because I find that they're much better for the participants and that drives customer satisfaction. But that's a difference when you're looking at cost of equipment. Red Cross does not have that cost that the American Heart Association does. So I think we've been fairly comprehensive in discussing both the American Heart Association and the American Red Cross. There's pros and cons of both organizations. They're both excellent. And again, my recommendation, if you're doing as a new instructor, you have to pick one. Start with the American Red Cross. It's kinder, gentler, easier, and ultimately less expensive initially for the instructor. As you get more experienced, my suggestion is you add the American Heart Association as an instructor. The American Red Cross just has such an awesome support network. The materials are free. Your feedback mannequins are not required. It's just an easier way to go as a new instructor. As you get more experienced and have those pieces of equipment anyways, adding the American Heart Association seems to make sense. Being able to teach for both organizations is absolutely the best business decision I think you can make. Hey, this is Dave Coates over here at CPR to CEO. I hope you've enjoyed this discussion about the differences between the American Heart Association and the American Red Cross. I'd love to hear your opinions. Please comment down below, and I'll be sure to look at them and get back to you. If you've got some other ideas about different organizations that work for you on a national basis, let's have that discussion as well. I'll be happy to make you a video for that too. Thanks so much. We'll see you again on CPR to CEO. Bye for now.